Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water, it's Fiji Water at FijiWater.com. And for all of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at newlifeministriesinternational.com and newlifeinternationalcdc.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you, to address whatever topics are important to you and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, and we are RadioFreeNetwork.com live. Go to radio, click on the New Life link as the Dropbox appears, and every broadcast will be available to you at RadioFreeNetwork.com. And I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers that we want to make certain that everyone is healthy and well in your body, mind, and spirit. And so every first Thursday of the month, with us right here in 3D is Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. BeccaTheDietitian.com will be with us from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. to address all of your health and wellness questions, all of your diet and nutrition questions. So you don't want to miss that. Make certain that you tune in every first Thursday of the month right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you were recently introduced to the brother of a friend. And he asked you out on a date, and you are interested in dating him, and you want to know if the relationship will be successful so that you can maintain your friendship with your friend. You don't want the relationship to damage the relationship you have with your friend. So let me tell you how to address this. First and foremost, you've got to start with the basics. And because you don't know where he is in his relationship with the Lord, because that's the foundation. The foundation has to be, you can't just be interested in dating him because you think he's attractive. You can't be interested in dating him because he has a good career. You can't be interested in dating him because he drives well. You can't be interested in dating him just because you want a meal. You have to know that this is the person God assigned for your life. And the only way you're going to be able to determine that is by finding out where he is in his relationship with the Lord. What is his, what is he being fed? Does he attend church on Sundays? These are going to be important factors. And then you need to know, has he written his vision and made it plain? Does he have a vision for his life? So having said all of that, you have to, in order to maintain your friendship, you're going to have to do this in a little different way. You're going to have to ask your friend to invite her brother to go out with the two of you the next time you go out on for brunch, for example, on a Saturday. And then what you're going to do is ask the questions over brunch. Just tell them you're not at a place yet where you are ready to be dating, because you're not in a relationship right now. You're still working on where you are in that process while you're out to brunch. But ask your girlfriend to invite her brother out to out to brunch with the two of you. It's not a date. It's the three of you just going to brunch together so that you can then ask the questions. Because otherwise, just turning him down is not going to, it's going to have an impact on your friendship. So you don't want, and you're interested, but you've got to make sure that you're asking the questions at brunch. Does he attend church? And if he says, no, I don't do church, then in front of your friends say to him, I'm really not at a place where I'm willing to go out to date anyone who doesn't have a relationship with the Lord, who's not going to church on Sundays, who's not being fed the Word of God to enhance the quality of their life. You have to say all of that in front of your friends so that there's no back channel conversations that then you have one story, he has another, and it impacts your friendship. You want to maintain your friendship, so you just want to have this conversation in front of your friend. So ask those questions. Does he attend church every Sunday? If he does, you'd be willing to go to church with him and out to lunch after church. If he doesn't attend church every Sunday, ask him where he is in his relationship with the Lord, and is he willing to attend church every Sunday? You've got to throw those talking points out there so he understands where you are in your walk, where you are in your state of mind. No matter how interested you might be in dating him, you don't want it to damage your friendship. And make sure you tell your friendship with his sister, and make sure you tell them both that in front of your friend. The reason you're doing it this way is to maintain the friendship, because otherwise he doesn't have a relationship with the Lord, he doesn't go to church on Sundays, he doesn't have a plan for his life, he's out. We've got to make sure we're doing this the right way now. We can't just spend our lives hanging out and not trying to accomplish what God has purposed for our lives. So we've got to do things differently now. We've got to take a different approach. Now, here's the problem. You indicated in your communication that you're interested in dating him. How do you know you're interested in dating him if you have no idea where he is in his relationship with the Lord? See, once again, we're putting the cart before the horse. We're putting the wagon before the horse. We want the wagon to pull the horse. We can't do that. We've got to, because then you're pulling the wagon. We want to make sure you get a nice, comfortable seat and that you get a nice, comfortable ride on your journey. And in order to do that, you really have to know where he is in his relationship. Now, see, your biggest concern was you didn't want to lose your friendship. That should be your secondary concern. But you can put them all together in this way. Ask your friend to ask her brother to go out to brunch with the two of you on a Saturday. And then have this conversation, this whole in-depth conversation right in front of your friend, right in front of your girlfriend, with her brother. And then if he really wants to take you out, if he doesn't have a church, a home church, sometimes I get these communications and I really wish you all were in my area. You have these conversations with him, and if he's interested in really dating you, then he'll take you to church because he's got a church home. And if he doesn't have a church home, he'll be willing to go with you to your church. But the reality is that we've got to do things differently if we really want to maximize the quality of our lives. And you were more concerned about the friendship, maintaining the friendship, but you've got no greater friend than the Lord Jesus himself. So your relationship with him should be the priority. And then your relationship with your friend can be a priority. But you can, in this case, intertwine them. And you can do that by asking your girlfriend to ask her brother to go to brunch with the two of you on a Saturday. And then you can find out what you need to know, whether or not you really should be interested in dating him. Because we shouldn't be interested in dating anyone who doesn't have a relationship with the Lord, male or female. So for all of our male listeners, if you are interested in a woman and she has no relationship with the Lord, count it all joy and keep it moving. Because at least you know now. If she's not interested in going to church with you and out to brunch, you don't need to take her out. You don't need to start a relationship with her. And for our listener and viewer who sent in this communication, and all of our female listeners who are listening also, you don't want a man who doesn't have a relationship with the Lord. Pure and simple. You do not want a man who does not have a relationship with the Lord. And I'm not talking about, it's interesting, last week in Bible study, one of the things we talked about is being lukewarm. You know, we don't want someone who says they're spiritual. We don't want someone who says, well, you know, I read the Bible, but I don't really go to church. We don't want someone who's not in a full committed relationship with the Lord. Because that's only going to lead to disaster and destruction. You need someone and want someone who has a full committed relationship with the Lord, because that's the only thing that's going to lead you both to a great quality of life. And everything else we can work out after that. We can do our part to give 100% of the time to work the plan that God has revealed to each and every one of us. We can do our part to get to where God would have us to go in our lives, to experience good success, to prosper and experience good success, to maximize our success, to experience the fullness of God, and to learn to maximize the fullness of God. We can get to all of that once we get the foundation laid. And the foundation is laid in Jesus Christ. And we know that. So if we know that, when you know better, you do better. Let's do better. Let's do this the right way. And you'll find that if he is the person that God has appointed for your life, he will show you that. And you will both then together have a great quality of life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G network. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, nor have you been for the previous 90 days, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile. You can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your friends feel that you have changed since you do not go out as much any longer and you enjoy some alone time. It is because you are developing a better life for yourself. And you want to know, how do you make them understand that you're the same person that you've always been, as you continue to build a better quality of life? Well, first of all, let me say this to you. Well, you said developing a better life, and I'm saying to you, you're developing a better quality of life. And first of all, you need to understand it's not important for you to make them understand. True friends would not be questioning your love for them just because you're not hanging out with them as much as you once did. That doesn't mean that you're not doing things with them. You just don't do things as often with them. And I was prayerful about this, and God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. You know, it's one thing to enjoy the people in your life. You can enjoy them in different ways. True friends are not going to question your love for them just because you're not spending as much time with them as you've always done. You are trying to develop a better quality of life. You say a better life. I'm saying a better quality of life because that's wherein lies the fullness of God, is the quality of our lives. When you say build a better life, that just implies that maybe you've got a better job, maybe you are working harder at your current job. It implies that you are trying to improve your health, but we want you whole. Because that's what being holy truly means. Being whole and complete in your body, your mind, and your spirit. So you don't have to make them understand what you're trying to do. You are still a friend. You're there if they need you. You are there still praying for them every day, hopefully. You are still doing all of the things that you can do to be a friend. Because in order for a man or woman to have friends, they must show themselves friendly. So you are showing that. You are still going out to dinner with them from time to time, but you're not drinking. That's going to lead to a better quality of life. They're still drinking, still hanging out, still having fun. You don't want to, or what they perceive to be fun. You don't want to hang out at the clubs. You're not interested in that anymore. You do like to go out to dinner with them from time to time. And you started doing that as we've been coming out of this pandemic. So something has changed for you during this pandemic that has allowed you to begin the process of developing a better quality of life. A true friend would just simply understand that you're not the hangout person anymore. You know, here's what's really interesting. Sometimes we outgrow our friends, which means we have to get a new circle of friends. And it doesn't have to look the same way it did when you had the previous circle of friends. You may have friends that you see from time to time, new friends that you see from time to time, people that you do something with from time to time. You know, I'll use an example. So I have an elderly friend. We've become friends over the years who, we're both golfers. I talk to him from time to time. But they play golf at a different time than I'm able to play, so I don't get to play golf with them. But I get an opportunity to see him once a year at our golf tournament, maybe a couple of times during the year at his home. But, however, I don't have to see him all the time. We text one another. I call from time to time, he'll call from time to time, but we're still friends. And he's a good friend. He's someone that he doesn't want or need anything from me, but he supports what we do to help others. And I pray for him and his family. If there's health issues going on, he will share that with me so that I can pray in agreement with him. But we're friends. But he's not someone that I've known for 30 years. He's someone that I've gotten to know over the last 6 years. And I say all of that to say, it may have been a little longer, but that's okay too. I'm saying that to say you're going to have different types of friends. The friends that you're talking about now are people that you've been hanging out with for the last 20 years. You all have been hanging out. You've been, you all came out of, you're all about the same age group. You didn't attend college together, but you all came out of colleges and met one another hanging out. So those were your hangout friends. And you've been hanging out with them now for the last almost 20 years. You're now at 41. Fun doesn't look the same. They're still hanging out. They're still having girls, I won't say girls gone wild, but they're still hanging out, doing girls trips and hanging out during the week and hanging out on the weekends, and that's the way they choose to live their lives. You now like some quiet time because you're working on you. And here's what's interesting. All of you, the whole group of you, none of you are married. None of you are married. None of you have any children. None of you have been married. Except for the one, I'm sorry. Except for the one. God allowed me to see in that secret place. Except for the one who's divorced. So here you are. This has been your group. But now you've changed. Change is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying just that people should just disrupt their lives just for the sake of disruption or change for the sake of change. I'm saying you've changed, and they're telling you you've changed, but the change isn't a bad thing. You've changed in the sense that you don't want to do what you've always done. The foursome of you. The foursome of you have been doing the same thing for the same way for the same period of time. And when I said 20 years, it's been almost 20 years. You were all in your early 20s. Well, I should say you were all in your mid-20s when you first met, hanging out. And you've lasted this long. So it hasn't been quite 20 years. You're 41, one of them's 43. You understand where I'm going here. It's time for a better quality of life. Whatever that's going to look like for the future. Because all of you, this has been your life, which is the reason that one of your friends ended her marriage in a divorce, because she was too busy hanging out, and that's what she chose to do. So you gotta recognize that in this case, change is good, because you're not deserting them. You still want to be their friend, but you want a better life for yourself. You want a better quality of life. You don't have to make them understand it, because their day will come too. You're 41, you met them when you were 43, pardon me, when you were 23. So it's time. We've got to make certain that we are really maximizing the quality of our lives. And you can do that if you stay on course and don't concern yourself about people, if they're real friends, people thinking you changed, or even cutting you off. Because they might cut you off in the sense of they'll get together with you for dinner once in a while, but they're not going to let you hang out with them the way they're hanging out. They're not even going to call you and tell you when they're hanging out. And that's a good thing, because you don't need the distraction. Get on the path that God has purposed for you and stay on that path. And you'll see that over the next 10 years, you will have a much greater quality of life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK, they also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your relationships have all ended badly. However, you made a comment, you said I made a comment in the past that the only common denominator is you. Okay, I wasn't speaking to you at the time, but yes, you want to know what can you do to ensure that your next relationship is successful. So let me say this. I was not speaking exactly to you when I was addressing another communication, talking about, because they were talking about the professional career. But it applies, and I'm glad that you recognize that, it's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. Whatever God speaks to me, I'm going to speak to you. But the Spirit was speaking to you to say, okay, so you've had relationships that have ended badly, and you realize now that the only common denominator was you. But that, in your case, is not really the case. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. You are the only common denominator in all of those relationships, but the common denominator in the relationships that ended badly for you was that you chose to yoke yourself with a person who was not equally yoked. So yes, you played a part in that, but it's not just you. You allowed yourself to be chosen by the wrong man. And then you chose to accept the wrong man in your life. What you need is to be equally yoked. You need to come together with someone who, first of all, has a relationship with the Lord. Second of all, they have a commitment to the Lord. They make a commitment to the Lord. That's what church does. Church allows you to make a commitment, and it teaches you discipline, and it teaches you how to develop a better quality of life. So you need to only allow someone to choose you who has a relationship with the Lord, has made a commitment to their relationship with the Lord, and has a vision for their life. If they don't have a vision for their life, they can't possibly have a vision for your life. So you've got to be equally yoked. And that also implies that you have to have someone who has the same drive that you have for both personal and professional success. So yes, you are playing a part in this, but the common denominator truly in this is you've allowed the wrong men to choose you, and you've accepted them choosing you to be a part of your life and their life. You need to find someone you can be equally yoked with. This segment of the broadcast today has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. And remember, we are Facebook.